In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. We are happy to have Abuna, and we are happy and blessed to have Abuna Samuel here. I think you know him more than you know me. I shouldn't introduce him. He should introduce me. But anyway, he is going to talk to us in an important topic about the truth shall set you free. We ask the Holy Spirit to give him a spiritual word for us, and to give us a spiritual ear that receive the word.
The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God. كل سنة وانتم طيبين بمناسبة صوم الست العذراء. ربنا يحافظ عليكم ويدعي عليكم الأيام بخير. أنا فرحان خالص إن أكون في وسطيكم النهاردة، ومتشكر على دعوة أبونا يوحنا وأبونا مرقس ليا إن أنا أجي آخد بركتكم وآخد بركة الآباء. ربنا يخليكم. There is a story about واحدة راحت لأبونا مرة وبتتكلم معاه، فتحكي له يا أبونا يعني كل حاجة ملخبطة في حياتي، فيا بنتي اهدي في ايه، كل حاجة بايظة ومنهارة جدا، ايه اللي حصل؟ كل حاجة مفيش حاجة بتمشي صح، مفيش حاجة بتمشي مظبوطة نهائي، كل حاجة متكركبة فوق دماغي، كل ما احاول كل ما اغير كل حاجة واقفة. فابونا بحكمة يعني يحاول يهديها، طب معلش يا بنت اهدي، طب ما فيش اهدي بس، طب ناخدها واحدة واحدة، طب ابتدي كده ايه بس اللي تعبك، واحدة واحدة نمسكها واحدة واحدة، بلاش الموضوع دوت. فابونا بيحاول يهديها، فيعني trying to figure out what's going on. فمثلا نمشي واحدة واحدة، ايه اللي تعبك؟ قالت له اول مشكلة عندي مثلا في البيت أنا my husband and I يعني we usually fight over little things, just all the time, we just fight over little things. And okay, what else is going on? Okay, the kids in the house, all the day I'm yelling at them, the house is so loud, everyone is shouting at each other, no one listens, the house is a mess, the house is not clean, and everyone is angry. Okay, and we found that sometimes when you look at this story, what is the common denominator? Most of these things are external circumstances, and her husband, her kids, her work probably, كلها external denominators that's controlling her life. And these are some thoughts that we put in our head, and it controls our life. And it's very easy to deceive ourselves with these lies sometimes, with these thoughts. Someone once said, the mind is its own place, and itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. It's your choice. The way we think, we can make our life miserable, or we can make good things out of bad things. It's your choice. And it's all in here, in your mind, in the way you think, and the way you see things. And the same idea في Jeremiah, like the heart is deceitful above all things. The heart is deceitful. دايما the heart of a man is deceitful above all things. And these mental dialogue or self-talks, what determines our feelings, that's why it's very important. Because what we think about, what we tell ourselves, if it's a lie, then our life, again, will be miserable. If it's the truth, then we will be happy. These internal dialogues affects the way we feel, and a byproduct affects the way we act every day and every decision that we make. So that's why it's very important to watch what we're thinking, to see the truth behind the lies that sometimes we believe in our life. These thoughts, again, shapes our character, our personalities. Someone always optimistic. What does it mean? He's always thinking positive. In Proverbs 23, it tells us, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." As you think in your heart, what you think, that's who you are. If you always think about the good things, this is who you are. If you're always focusing on the mistakes and the wrong things, this is who you are. This is who you are. حتى نلاقيها في الخدمة. يعني واحد ماشي you find the mistakes. This is how he sees only that. This is who is he. برضه في حياتنا ساعات الواحد كده مركز بس على الحاجات اللي بتحصل غلط. Again, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Someone said, thoughts produce after their own kind, and that's the problem. Thoughts, it's like a chain. Produces death. If it's a lies, lies produces death. And truth produces life. This is how we generate our minds. This is how we generate our minds. And that's why in Romans 12:2 tell us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Get transformed by the renewing of your mind. That was the theme verse for the Mahragan last year. There are يعني 5 lies كده. هو طبعا في حاجات بس أنا I picked 5 that we usually fall into, that we gonna study together. See كده how many of these that we fall into daily, and how can we overcome these lies so we can live the truth that will set us free. The first lie that we always tell ourselves when we start magnifying things, when we make big deal out of little things, when we blow up over small things that happens, when we sometimes we make out of 5 cents event 500 worth of it. When we look at things from تعرف دايما يقول لك ايه يعني يعمل من الحبة قبة. This is what it is. كتير قوي بنقع في الموضوع دوت لان نفسنا واقفين على حاجات كده يعني وعاملين منها الشخص اللي دايما بيقف على الحاجات الصغيرة ديت ويعمل عنها big deal. دايما it's a lie behind that. There is a lie. One of my daughters يعني بتخاف شوية. So يعني a couple of weeks ولا حاجة كده كانت we were in a house and she was afraid to go upstairs by herself. And يعني this is not the first time. So she came عمالة تزن بقى she doesn't want to go upstairs by herself. So I just يعني looked at her and just, why you not going to go upstairs by yourself? What's this? I'm going to turn the light on. The light is on. Just go. And start preaching her about fear. And then she started yelling, kind of grumbling for a little bit, and then she went upstairs, and then she came down, and يعني كده بعد شوية I was talking to my wife, and she looked at me and said, okay, يعني little girls afraid sometimes. That's normal feeling for them. The little boys sometimes scared of monster under the bed, and this is a normal feeling for their age. So I found myself getting into magnifying that fear, and I started by preaching. How can my daughter is just afraid? What's this? What are you afraid of? And I found myself just magnifying that big event, and in reality, just a little thing that should be a normal feeling at her age, but I was magnifying it, and that interpreted into my emotion got hot, and I was angry. Why you're afraid? And it's not making sense to me. Bad actions followed. See, these little things that we make big deal out of it. Big deal out of it. How many يعني مثلا كده أمهات في البيت ساعات نلاقي نفسنا كده انفجرنا out of nothing. دخلت البيت لقيت البيت مثلا a big mess. no TV or iPad for a month. يعني yes, but they're kids. Do you do that? Do you make mess? They're kids. So we found ourselves making a big deal out of little things, magnifying. And also the opposite is true. When we start minimizing big things, يعني it's equivalent. A lie that we tell us. يعني تلاقي مثلا دي usually تلاقيها في البيت كده، مثلا الراجل معلش ما فيش حاجة it's okay، والست مثلا شايطة الموضوع كبير بالنسبة لها جدا وهو هادي خالص. يعني برضو الهدوء الموضوع يبقى كبير واحنا ناخده ببساطة زيادة. أنا لازم مش it's not healthy. It's not healthy either. Again, the magnifying or minimizing, both of them, both situations are unhealthy for our families or for our life. The problem with magnifying إن احنا sometimes when we magnify, the more emotionally we get, the more likely we are to act bad. So يعني تعرف واحد بيسخن نفسه بنفسه، ده اللي بيحصل. الموضوع بسيط بس أنا اللي بكبره. So again, lies that we keep telling ourselves about reality. There is a biblical example for that. في باثني السيد المسيح لما دخل البيت والمرأة جت سكبت الطيب وجت غسلت قارورة الطيب غالي الثمن. And came to him having an alabaster flask of very costly fragrant oil, and she poured it on the feet of Christ. التلاميذ واقفين ايه البعزقة دي تعملوا الست ده؟ ما كان ممكن نتصرف ونعمل عملوا المسيح بص لهم وقال ايه؟ Why do you trouble the woman؟ ايه في ايه؟ بالراحة شوية. الموضوع مش كبير قوي كده زي ما انتم شايفين. الموضوع بسيط. بس التلاميذ عملوا ايه؟ big deal out of it. وممكن كان يتعمل ونفس الموضوع ساعات بنعمله في حياتنا. لما يبقى موضوع صغير كده ونقعد start magnifying it. الخدمة كان المفروض كانوا يعملوا، ليه بيعملوا في دوت وليه مش هنا بس يقول لك عملا حسن عملا دي خلاص مفيش حاجة، عملوا حاجة كويسة. موضوع بسيط مش مستاهل كل اللي بناخد حاجات صغيرة كده we magnify it and we get hot over it. It's a lie that we live sometimes. What do we do about it? يعني what can we do if I find myself falling into this lie many times? What do I do? First, you need to identify it. يعني كده catch yourself زي ما بيقولوا with this lie. I'm overreacting here. I'm overreacting. So you need to يعني كده watch yourself and see in what situations you're overreacting for over the little things. And when you find yourself كده في الحاجات دي مثلا مع العيال مثلا بتنرفز كده أو ساعات بكبر مواضيع مع العيال أو مع أصدقائي ومع الخدمة. What do I do? Before you jump into decisions or getting angry or just say any comments, pray. Pray. If it's something major, يعني pray at home. If it's something يعني عادي ممكن مثلا you say Jesus prayer or something like that, just to help yourself see the reality. See the reality, not minimizing it and not magnifying it. And think about what the decision that you're going to make, how is that going to help the problem. يعني مثلا لو رجعنا لمثل الأم مثلا اللي اتنرفزت على العيال عشان they make a big mess and محرومين من الايباد أو TV for a month. يعني how is that going to help them change? How is that going to help them change? Are we just punishing our kids or we're helping them change? How is that going to change anything? Nothing. So you need to think about it, the consequences of what I'm doing. How is that going to help improve the situation or solve the problem or أي حاجة. But this is the first lie that we fall into it sometimes, is magnifying or minimizing. So we need to see it, the reality as it is. The second lie that we fall into many times is when we start personalizing things. Take it to the heart. And when we take everything personally. واحدة راحت لابونا. I'm just picking up names كده عشان ما. Let's call her Cindy. She went to Abuna مثلا and she's complaining again about her husband doesn't love her anymore. Why is that? Abuna's asking, يعني why is that? Why are you getting that feeling? Because he works so many hours, and he comes home very late, and he doesn't spend any time with me, and he's always busy, and everything else comes before me. So he doesn't love me. He doesn't care about me or the kids. And everything interpreted personally to her. When we overestimate activities, when we overestimate things, when we give it more than it is and take it to the heart, and usually it's self-centered person. When I see it as, for me, driving a car on a freeway or something and someone cuts off, and you start yelling at that, you can take it personally as this person, how could he do that to me? When you can say, مثلا, he's a bad driver and he just cut someone and this one happens to be me. That's it. But sometimes we get so angry that we take it so personally that this person means to cut in front of me. Again, we personalize it. And this happens a lot with our children. As a father or a mother, when I say something to my kids and they don't listen, and we get so angry. أنا بابا تسمعنيش. We take it so personal. We forget about the age and what they're thinking. And this also, it's a problem in marriage. Big problem when we start personalizing. It ruins the relationship in marriage. When I start interpreting or take everything my spouse does as something to hurt me. He's late because he wants to hurt me. He's busy because he doesn't want to spend time with me. Everything that the other person does, spouse does, I interpret it as something to me. He throws the laundry on the floor because he just wants me to work, or just he doesn't appreciate anything I do in the house. Everything takes it personally. The problem with this lie or this way of thinking is when we start personalizing, not only the problem is still there, but we add some resentment and bitterness in our hearts. More things getting in there. So not just the problem is not solved, it has nothing to do with the problem still exists, but also we have some resentment and hurt in our heart when we start personalizing. In that story, when Cindy starts saying that her husband comes late because of work, والراجل متأخر على طول وعلى طول مشغول ومش مهتم بالبيت وما قديش وقت، ايه اللي بيحصل؟ بيجي البيت وبعدين يجي البيت متأخر ولا حاجة، يلاقي تكشيرة عريضة قد كده. يوم تاني يوم يحصل ايه؟ يجي متأخر أكتر، يوم هي تكبر التكشيرة أكتر وتدخل في حاجة اللي اسمها vicious cycle. Her reactions drives his actions more. He's late more and more. كان دايما التاني قاعد كده ما يجيش إلا بعد ما هي تنام أصلا. ليه؟ عشان to avoid the conflict again. Her actions repeats itself. مش عاوز نفهم معنى الكلام إن هي the problem is هو في مشكلة، بس المشكلة إن إحنا the way we look at the problem. I'm not trying to justify her action or his actions. بس هي the problem is the way we look at the problem. That makes it worse. That's what I'm trying to get into. Either when we magnify or when we personalize it. I'm not denying the fact that there is a problem here. But the way we look at it, again, solve it or create more problems. By the magnifying it or personalize it, we're creating more additional problems here. We're not solving the problem. The problem is still there. We're not solving anything. We're not helping anything. And these lies that we wave thinking that we have in our hearts or our ways of life, that creates more problems. So what do we do about it? عشان we don't personalize. أول حاجة we need to ask ourselves يعني the lady that's complaining about her husband is always late وكده. Okay, يعني could be there some other reason that he's late. يعني maybe sometimes he's late because he's trying to avoid problems at home. بس يعني other times could be because of his work really. He's busy at work and he has lots of stress at work or hours وحاجات زي كده. It's not every time, but there are some times. But again, what are the other options? And instead of interpret his actions as something to me, we can look at it because their actions is the way he is. The way people act is because of the way they are, not because of us. Not because of us. I mean, again, separate between the external circumstances and the way I act. This separation is very important. Otherwise, we find ourselves just repeating the mistakes and again personalizing it, and then we get more and more angry. A biblical example of that, persecutions. ما بيحصل. بولس الرسول لما ظهر له السيد المسيح قال له ايه؟ شاول شاول لماذا تضطهدني؟ مع انهم كانوا بيضطهدوا المسيحيين عامة. فما خدهاش بيرسونال. يعني احنا حتى لو بصينا للمشاكل اللي بتحصل في مصر مثلا دلوقتي ولا حاجة، لو واحد خد على ان هم بيضطهدوه هو شخصيا، اللي بيحصل gets very angry وبيبقى متضايق ومش عارف ايه وعاوز retaliate وكده وينتقم. لو خدها بيرسونال. بس لو خدها لان هم بيضطهدوا المسيح مش انا، ما عادتش المشكلة بيرسونال. المشكلة عادت ايه؟ ده المسيح هم اللي بيضطهدوا المسيح مش انا. If we look at it this way الانسان ما يتعبش. لكن لو الانسان تعب انه بيبصوا انا ده بيضطهدوني انا وبيعملوا معايا كده ليه، الانسان يبتدي يبقى متضايق اكتر وانجري اكتر. في البيت لو حصلت مشكلة، لكن لو خدتها على ان انا تصرفاتي انا، لا، هو ممكن ظروف تانية بتاعنا تدخل في المواضيع. فاجان حتى برضو ان good things، يعني لما نعمل حاجات كويسة. السيد المسيح ما جه يتكلم مع التلاميذ بما انكم فعلتم باحد هؤلاء، كنت عطشانا كنت جوعانا، المسيح قال لهم لو عملتوا بدول كانكم عملتوا بيا. عشان حتى ما تعمل حاجة كويسة ما افتكرش ان انا عملت للاخ دوت، لكن انا عملتها للمسيح نفسه. الفرق ايه؟ if we personalize it، لو خدتها حاجة بقى شخصية تلاقي ايه؟ الانسان بيقول لك ده يستاهل وده ما يستاهلش. امتى اقول كده؟ امتى اقول ده يستاهل وده ما يستاهلش؟ لما اخدها بيرسونال انا بقى ابتديت اتحكم، مش شايف المسيح فيه، عشان كده اقول ده يستاهل وده ما يستاهلش. لكن لو خدتها ان انا مش بيرسونال، ان ده المسيح مش الشخص نفسه، تلاقي الموضوع سهل بالنسبه لي ومش تعبان وما عادش اقيم وده ينفع وده ما يستاهلش وده يستاهل. Then don't personalize. Another lie that we have. That the third lie that we fall into sometimes is when we become selective of the events in our life. When we miss the forest for the trees, as they say it, يعني when we focus our attention on the smallest part, the wrong things. كل حاجة ماشية كويسة وبعدين نفوكس على wrong things. طالعين رحلة جميلة وكل حاجة كويسة، بس مثلا نسينا شنطة ولا تلاقي كل اللي جاز ومعاك نانا بقى عشان نسينا. يعني كل حاجة كويسة بس حاجة صغيرة حصلت. It's okay. We forget about all the beautiful things that we had and we focus on that. تلاقي في الجواز مثلا راجل كويس وكل حاجة، بس ساعات بيتنرفز كده، يعني ناسية كل الحاجات الحلوة وفاكر بس الحاجات wrong doings that we have. And that when we become selective of that wrong things or negative things, we become again angry for no reason. Again, these thoughts does not help with the problem, creates more problem, and that's why we call it lies. And we need to see the truth, the reality, so we can be free of these lies. When we start remembering only the wrong things, what happens? يعني دايما الديبريشنز بيحصل ايه؟ When we become selective and focusing only on the negative things. When we look at things from just a narrow view, this is it. We become so depressed. الدنيا سودة ليه؟ يعني حاجة هي مفكر على الحاجة الواحدة دي بس. As parents sometimes we find ourselves يعني دايما picking على الحاجات اللي بيعملوها العيال غلط بس، وننسى الحاجات الحلوة اللي بيعملوها. يعني الولد تلاقيه كله كويس وبيعمل حاجات طول اليوم بس ما يسمعش الكلام. ما قلت له يعني على طول النهار بيسمع كلامي كتير، على طول ما بيسمعش الكلام. ما في مرات بيسمع، مش معقول على طول ما بيسمعش الكلام. فتلاقي في حاجة كده نفوكس على negative things only, and that creates again our views distorted, and we become نلاقي نفسنا selective in the way we see things, and we become negative. Depression is one of the things that we fall into because we're selective. We're focusing only on the wrong things that happens in our life. A biblical example of that, الكتاب المقدس لما بيعلمنا في Romans 8:28, we know that all things work out together for good. The Bible is teaching us that, not to be selective. All things. Our life is like a puzzle. And when we focus only on one piece of the puzzle and we try to figure out the whole picture from just one piece, it's impossible. It's impossible. We see it's not going to work. But when you look all the pieces together, then you can understand. Now we can see the picture. You see the whole picture. But focusing on only on little things, we become so selective that we depress ourselves, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. يعني if I asked you كده مثلا how many times لقيت نفسك كده مركز على حاجة كده وبعدين تقول مش، وبعدين بعدها بسنين الموضوع ده كان كويس جدا بس الواحد كان ساعتها بقى مركز وهي الشغلانة دي لا بلاش، الاقي نفسي مركز عليها وبعدين في الاخر الاقي ان الموضوع ده ما كان ابسط من كده. يعني لو بصينا لحياة جوزيف، يعني لو جوزيف بس قاعد يبص لحياته في السجن مثلا ولا اخواته باعوه، ده لوحدها يعني تجيبهم تخليه depressed all his life what his brothers did to him. But he didn't look at that. Look at the whole picture. Look at the whole picture. Not just focus on one event in your life. Not focusing only on one event of life. في حاجات بتحصل في الحياة بسبب أخطائنا وأخطاء الآخرين، أنهي حاجات هتركز عليها. Don't be selective. Again, it's another lie that we see sometimes. في حاجة حصلت، في مشكلة حصلت. Again, don't focus just on that. So what do we do about it? How can we help ourselves not to be selective? Remember, no matter how many bad things may be going on in your life, positive are more. And that's true in everyone's life. Everyone's life. There are some bad things, but also there is a lot more good things that happens in our life. And as they teach us, you count your blessing. Always you have a list of the things that God did in your life that will help you to look, God who وقف معايا في الحاجات اللي في الزمان, I'm sure he will بيبقى معايا also in the future, الحاجات اللي بتحصل في المستقبل. بس if you focus only on the little things مش هتلاقي نفسك بتعمل. Again, we become so selective. The fourth lie that we fall into sometimes is when we overgeneralize. يعني دي واحدة من الحاجات اللي كتير قوي بنقع فيها. And it's even in the culture, it's very deep in the culture. We like to look at the history. And we see the history as predicting for the future. Those who love history, like statistics, they look at numbers and they can predict the future out of that. But in a relationship, that doesn't work. We make negative prediction of that. دخلت الامتحان ما عدتش يبقى مش هعديه خالص. مرة واحد بيكلم معايا حاولت بيشرب سجاير مش هبطل السجاير ده، انا حاولت قبل كده زمان كتير ومش معرفتش، يبقى مش هينفع. حط في دماغه خلاص يبقى مش هينفع ان انا ابطل. ليه؟ لان انا حاولت قبل كده زمان كذا مرة وقعدت كذا فترة وبعدين رجعت لها تاني، يبقى انا ما حاولش تاني لان انا مش هينفع ان انا احاول تاني، لان انا احاول تاني هفشل مش هبطلها. Again, a lie that we keep telling ourselves. We look at the history. And the problem with that ايه؟ المشكلة في الموضوع حكاية الهيستوري دي. When we look at it, it repeats itself. There is a hidden lie underneath it. The lie is what? I don't want to work hard anymore. Because what? Guess what? If I even tried hard, it's not going to work. So why work hard? Again, you see? الموضوع كله اصلا مش عشان هتشتغل، لا ده انا مش عاوز اتعب نفسي اللي انا عشان مثلا احاول ان انا ابطل السجاير ده مشكله، الموضوع صعب وبيتعبني، فانا هحاول ليه؟ فانا بقنع نفسي بالموضوع ان انا ايه حاولت قبل كده زمان وفشلت فمش هينفع تاني، فليه بقى ابذل مجهود ان انا احاول تاني؟ فدي اللاي that's hidden underneath it. It's not that I can't, the problem is I don't want to put the effort. or try again. And this is again that's number one. يعني تلاقي مشكلة كبيرة جدا في الجواز، حكاية الواحد يقعد يعمل هيستوري لمراته أو يعمل هيستوري لجوزي، حاطين له لستة كده عندنا. ده مش هيتغير أبدا، طبعه كده هو على طول بيتنرفز، مش ممكن هيبطل الموضوع دوت. لا ده هو طبعه كده عنيد، مش هيتغير. ونستارت حتى نلاقي في ourselves حاطين labels على each other because what we look at history and we say history repeats itself. طب المشكلة دي تتحل ازاي؟ حكاية الهيستوري اللي في دماغي دي، الحل بتاعنا الإنسان we have to break down these negative thoughts of patterns that we have and start putting the effort. بص لحياتك كده كم مرة يعني الواحد اتحدى فيها نفسه، يعني كلنا مرينا بالموضوع ده أكيد كتير. يعني أحط لا مش هينفع مثلا في محاولة معينة، مثلا أول ما جينا مثلا مذاكرة ولا أي حاجة مش هينفع، حاولت فشلت. بس بص لنفسك كده كم مرة قلت لنفسك مش هينفع وحاولت وتحديت الموضوع ونجحت مثلا. كتير. والواحد حتى بيحس بعد كده بنفسه ان هو عمل حاجة او achieved something. ليه؟ لان بصيت وحاولت. you didn't give up للموضوع دوت. الاقي نفسي في الحياة الزوجية لو تنتك ماشي بالمنطق دوت، جوزي مش هتغير، زوجتي مش هتتغير، هي طبعها كده، هو طبعه كده. ايه اللي بيحصل؟ انا مش عاوز ابذل مجهود التاني، خلاص ما هو كده هتعب نفسي ليه؟ الحل ان الواحد يخرج من نيجاتيف ثوتس دوت، افصل ما بين الامور، افصل. انا دوري ان انا اكون زوج مسيحي اخدم مراتي بس. don't worry about the reaction of the other person. That's not your part. You're responsible only for your actions, not for your spouse's actions. So I do and act and say as what Christ entrusted me to do as a husband. That's it. مالكش دعوة بالرياكشن بتاع the other person. And we need to learn to forgive. This is hard. But unless we forgive, because forgiveness erases the past. And what we're doing, we're just saving the past. We have files for each other and we can retrieve it any seconds. بدليل أول ما تحصل خناقة فاكر وزمان ونجيب من 10 سنين فاتت و20 سنة فاتت إيه اللي حصل، الهيستوري. So unless we start over generalizing, we're looking at the patterns and start generalizing and predicting the future for the other, how the other person will behave. أنا فاهم الشخص ده كويس، أنا عارف هيتصرف إزاي. الإنسان بيبتدي يتعب ويعيش this lie and this why. That's why sometimes our life doesn't change. نلاقي نفسنا على طول we're not happy. الكتاب المقدس بيعلمنا if you Lord should mark iniquities who could stand. إن كنت الآثام راصدني يا رب، يا رب من يستطيع الوقوف أمامك. في كورنثوس 13 بيتكلم عن love. He says love does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, does not provoke, thinks no evil. In some translation says keeps no record of wrongs. Keeps no record of wrong. That's love. That's the true love that Christ is asking us to love one another with. Keeps no record of wrongdoings. So overgeneralization. The last lie that we fall into sometimes, when we start use our emotion as a decision makers, how we feel, and we look our feeling as facts, and our feeling becomes our gods and decision making. How we feel about things. If we feel about something is true, then it's true. Feeling equal facts. Your feelings are your best guide. You follow your heart, whatever. And if we start believing that our feelings is our guide, what's going to happen? If I don't feel that I'm loved by my spouse, then he doesn't love me or she doesn't love me. Feelings. And if I feel I'm hopeless, then I'm feeling that I'm worthless, then I'm really worthless. I don't feel like I want to pray, then I'm not going to pray. I don't feel like I want to read the Bible, then I'm not going to read the Bible. I don't feel like I don't want to fast, then I'm not going to fast. You see? Feelings becomes a decision maker in our life. I don't feel like I should love this person, then I'm not going to love him. I feel like he's غلس ولا مش عارف الكلام دوت، يبقى هيحصل، مش هتعامل معاه. And we need to ask ourselves how many times we have done this, something that nonsense because of our feelings. صحيح؟ يعني لاقي نفسي كده كم مرة كده مشيت ورا my feelings and lost a great opportunity because the way I feel, because of the way I feel. Feelings are feelings. They change. And feelings in marriage are very important. Feelings is very important. I'm not saying feelings just to ignore them. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying feelings that are important. But what's important than feelings is your mind, the way you think, the decisions that you make. You need to think about it. Make the right decisions. Love is a choice, a decision that you make. It's not just feelings. And ask those بقى اللي اتجوزوا عشان قصة حب وكلام زي كده. ما ينفعش. It's a choice. A choice that we make. And the worst يعني when we start using our feelings also as a determined factor for God's will. God's will. تلاقي كده اتنين شباب كده صغيرين يعني بيحبوا بعض، اوكي؟ يبقى خلاص دي إرادة ربنا لينا، ما بنحب بعض ليه؟ هو ربنا عاوزنا نحب بعض، يبقى احنا كده كويسين مع بعض. ده راح خالص. المشكلة ماشيين بالفيلينجز. احنا we love each other, then we're good for each other, and that's it. Feelings. When we follow just our feelings are good. But when we just base our decision on feelings, we end up in a disaster. So what should we do? We shouldn't be ignoring feelings at all. This is not what I mean. But someone put it this way, it's very good. Reason without passion is boring. Passion without reason is scary. You need both. Feelings without passion is boring. Yes. Reason كده لوحده يعني تلاقي واحد يعني sometimes تلاقي دي مشكلة برضو في الحياة الزوجية كتير، لما يبقى الراجل ماشي بدماغه بس، يعني حكاية الفيلينجز دي مش موجودة عنده نهائي. He's not in tune with his feelings خالص. تلاقي فيها مشكلة، الست تعبانة في البيت، ليه مش الموضوع ده مش ماشي معاه؟ عاوز كل حاجة ماشية reasons وخلاص. ما ينفعش برضو. It's boring. وبرضه passion لما تلاقي الست على طول عاطفيه وخلاص ماشيه بالعواطف وتقعد تخبي على جوزها، الواد عامل مشكله مش عارف تخبي عشان ما يعرفش، عشان ما يتنرفزش عليهم، عشان ما يتضايقش. Again, we're causing more problems. Again, my focus is how we look at the problem. We lie to ourselves, so we start making the wrong decisions. As they say, feelings or emotions are indicators but not dictators. يعني usually when you feel something يعني دي علامة بس مش هي القرار. يعني you feel something كده يعني مع واحد مثلا، واحدة مثلا feelings, okay, that's good, but it's not the decision making. Feelings are not, it's just indicators. When you feel there is something wrong يعني لو ما بيحس بالموضوع ده ممكن يعني، بس بيبقى indicator، بس ما تمشيش وراه، بس لازم افكر واشوف facts وحاجات زي كده ادرس، ما امشيش just behind my feelings. Biblical example of that. الكتاب المقدس بيعلمنا Proverbs 28 it says he who trusts in his own heart is a fool. اللي بيمشي بس ورا his heart is a fool. اللي بيمشي ورا emotions only, he's a fool. And we find ourselves another example in John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave. Love. Again, it's a choice that he made. That's not because the person is good or we are good or we were sinner. While we were still sinner, God died for us. Again, it's a choice. God, it's not just it's not feelings. It's a choice. We need to learn to control our emotions. As in James 1 it says, let everyone be swift to hear, quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. see the steps. So you control your anger. ما فيش حاجة اسمها your anger just control your feelings just go. Anger في steps to it. You can control it. You tell yourself I can control how I feel by the way you think. By the way how you think. So the way you think influences the way you react. And your beliefs, if you started changing the way you look at things in your home will be a better house, will have a healthy relationship with your spouse. When we just look at these things, not personalizing and not overreacting and not magnifying things, and controlling your feelings and your emotions. These self-talk, someone says, it's very good. Words we tell ourselves are more important than we realize. The self-talk, the internal dialogue that we have. If you tell yourself something enough times and in right circumstances, you will believe those words, whether true or not. What you tell yourself, that you keep repeating yourself, that you are worthless, that you are fearful, that you are hopeless. This is how you're going to be. But if you tell yourself that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, you will do it. You will do it. You will overcome that. The 5 lies are magnifications, personalization, selective, overgeneralizations, and emotional reasonings. And to him be the glory forever and ever. Amen. Does anyone have any question, thoughts? And if you would like to read more about this, there are 2 books that I used to prepare for this. The one called Tell Yourself the Truth and Lies We Believe. This by Truman. It's a very good book, and if you would like to dig more into this. To him be the glory forever and ever.
Any questions or comments? I thank Abuna for that nice talk and hope we will be following the truth with ourselves. Okay, let's pray. Tomorrow we'll start at 7 as usual. Next Sunday we'll be late. We'll start earlier, 30 minutes. We'll start the liturgy at 8 and we'll finish by 11 because of the celebration of the Maharagar. Min alleluia Zusabatrike.
المسيح لنا ملك السلام أعطينا سلامك قرر لنا سلامك أغفر لنا خطايانا لك الملك والقوة والمجد آمين. جعلنا يا رب مستحقين كل بشكرية أبانا الذي في السماوات.
قدس اسمك يأتي ملكوتك تكن مشيئتك كما في السماء كذلك على الأرض. خبزنا الذي الغد أعطينا اليوم لنا ذنوبنا كما نغفر نحن أيضا مذنبين إلينا. ادخلنا في تجربة لكن نجينا من الشرير المسيح يسوع ربنا لأن لك الملك والقوة والمجد يا أبدا.
والآن محبة الله الآب ونعمة ابن الوحيد ربنا وإلهنا مخلصنا يسوع المسيح شركة موهبة وعطية الروح القدس تكون مع جميع